Now, the Eskom Chief Executive Officer, Ruyter, says he hopes to revise his initial timetable for the unbundling of Eskom and so accelerate the process of splitting the company into three parts. Business Day reporting today that the unbundling of Eskom into standalone subsidiaries for generation, transmission and distribution is seen by government as the key to the utility overcoming its dire operational and financial difficulties and rescuing the energy sector. Energy commentator Chris Yelland, good afternoon to you and welcome. All of this seems to be taking such a long time, though. Why is that?
Yeah, it certainly has been taking a long time. It was last year, and early last year, that it was announced in the State of the Nation address and then by the finance minister that there will be this unbundling process. Then, of course, was appointed, in about July that year, I think, or August last year, a chief restructuring officer, which was supposed to lead the process of the restructuring of Eskom. An interim person or a person on a part-time basis was appointed on a 6-month contract, supposed to do a report. The report apparently has been submitted to government but has never been made public, and I'm not sure that it ever will be made public because I'm not sure that the quality of the work was adequate. Be that as it may, things are drifting on, and it's now August 2020, and really there is no really visible sign of progress, although Eskom does say that they have started work on the corporatization of Eskom into 3 different divisions, which will ultimately be followed by separating them into 3 subsidiary companies. And after that, probably will involve carving out the transmission company from Eskom. But it's all taking an incredibly long time. The new CEO said that he needed more time to do this. This was a month ago or 2 months ago. Now it seems like he's changing his tune and saying that it needs to be done really quickly, or at least speed it up. The processes of bureaucracy are very slow and painful, especially in South Africa, especially during the COVID-19 lockdown. And I think we are sitting on the edge of a precipice, and we need decisions quickly now.
What I'm interested in is why the sudden urgency of the statement, given that he said earlier that he needed more time, and still to bedevil the situation surely is where the IPPs fit in as well as trade unions.
Yeah, there are a number of reasons why this is becoming more and more urgent. I just want to give you one, a very critical issue, and it relates to the procurement of new generation capacity in South Africa. You see, in the past, when you procure new generation capacity, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's Medupi or Kusile or any other generation source, you need government guarantees for the finance, for the loans. Why do you need government guarantees? The reason is that Eskom is insolvent. It is not creditworthy. It cannot raise a loan without getting government guarantees because it is insolvent, because its debt service cover ratio is 0.5. That means it can't service the debt from its net operating revenue. And so if you want to enter into a contract to supply equipment, you want to raise a loan, and you're going to sell the electricity to an insolvent off-taker who happens to be a monopoly off-taker, by law the sole off-taker, and that off-taker is insolvent, then the shareholder of that off-taker has got to provide guarantees that its subsidiary or its company will be able to pay for that off-take for the next 20 years, because that's what the finance is for. Right. So we're in a situation now where government needs to procure new capacity. We've got the Section 34 ministerial determinations have been approved by NERSA, concurred to by NERSA, but government hasn't got the money for guarantees. And the problem is that the off-taker is a monopoly sole off-taker, and it's insolvent. So you have to restructure Eskom, take the generation part out of Eskom. That's why it is insolvent, because all the debt is carried by generation. The transmission business could be made into an independent grid company. It's a perfectly good company. It's solvent. It's technically capable. It's working. But it is burdened with the insolvency of Eskom generation. So you need to unbundle this so that the transmission company can enter into power purchase agreements with new generators. And at the moment, this whole process is stymied because government hasn't got the money to provide the guarantees. It doesn't want to provide the guarantees, and the banks say that that's essential if you want, if there's going to be power purchase agreements with Eskom.
All right, it is an enormous task. Energy commentator Chris Yelland, thank you very much indeed. This is Wednesday lunchtime, still to come.